Hello, and welcome to Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. I'm Gloria.
Hi everyone, and I'm Rosetta coming to you on this side of the screen. So excited today. Thanks everyone for joining us. And before we begin, I got to remind everyone, if you like our chats, please let us know. And the way that we know is by you hitting that thumbs up, like button, subscribe below, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on our chats. All right, now today we're gonna, as always, start off with the teas that we're drinking. And today I'm drinking this tea. You can't even see it. Sorry, there you go. It's Numi and it's called Purpose. Every yerba made. Sorry, I'm reading it all wrong. Oh my God, my eyesight. Okay, this is what happens when you start getting older. Your eyesight starts going. Energizing yerba mate and creamy cacao dance with vital maca. So that's what it is. I don't have the pack, but it has yerba mate, cacao, rooibos, lemon, peel, ginger, licorice. Gotta have my licorice again. I love ginger. Maca, cardamom, coriander, black pepper. And that's what it is. Certified organic Numi. So I have that steeping. I'm going to do cheers to you, Gloria, and everyone else watching.
Cheers.
And what are you drinking this week, Gloria?
Oh, this week I am drinking, if I can get the box so you can see it. There you go. Woo-hoo. This is a everyday detox tea. And the reason I bought it, it's a traditional medicinal tea. And it is dandelion tea.
I love dandelion.
It supports the liver and the kidney functions. And I have been turning this box all over saying, what is in this tea? What is in this tea? It gives you the history of the dandelion, and it talks about what it supports. Herbalists have celebrated dandelions for thousands of years. So I couldn't find anything, really more than dandelion herb with the root. And it has a proprietary blend of fennel fruit, peppermint, and Rosetta's favorite, licorice root.
Licorice!
Yeah.
Yay! We both have licorice this week.
Yes.
I love it.
Cheers
again to you, everyone.
Yes.
There you go. Yummy.
Okay, so, we always like to kick our videos off with our wonderful, wonderful Ellen. Ellen always reminds us to be kind to one another. And since everything has been occurring with the pandemic as well as with the protesters, she has added and listened to one another, because it's important for us to listen to each other.
Yes, it is.
So Rosetta has a video to share with us today.
Yes, I do. Ellen is on vacation as usual. She always takes a summer off, and she put a mashup of videos together, and I think this will be hilarious. So let me share my screen.
Woo-hoo!
All right, let's share this and see where we go. All right, now where is it? Always does this. It's great, but then it's not too great because I always... Okay, here we go.
All right.
You have to leave before my sister sees you. What we did was wrong.
Sorry, that came up.
I know. But you have to go. Hurry, hurry. I love you, darling.
That's Ben Affleck.
I didn't have to hear anything because I found this. Not sure what that is. Where did you find one of Paco's mustaches? The maid found it in your bedroom.
Yes.
Get in here. Oui, madame. Oui, madame. Oui. How could you betray me? What?
Woo!
You have to leave before my sister sees you. What we did was wrong. I know. But you have to go. Hurry, hurry. I love you, darling. How much did you hear?
Okay, so that was what it was. There you go. It was
Oh my
hilarious.
God,
It was just a
that
mashup
is too
of
funny.
just, yeah, the actress. Who was that? I can't quite remember who that actress was, that second one, not Jennifer Aniston, the other
Oh,
one.
I know. I don't know. I was looking, trying to, see who is that. They, like you said, that was just so funny. I mean, the slaps. I love the slaps.
She's so funny when she does those acting scenes. Her and her
Yes.
little wigs and trying to dress up and
Yes. And then half his mustache coming off during the kiss. I
yeah,
mean, it's so funny.
yeah.
So funny. Okay, so let's get started again. Okay, education in America. I know parents are overwhelmed with their children being home. And I know some parents are, they're I don't want to say afraid, they're cautious. They don't want to send their children back to school too fast. And then their children get sick, or their children get sick, has no symptoms, and the teacher gets sick. So there are new conversations about that now. And I saw a sign this morning. A teacher was holding up and she says, "I cannot teach if I'm dead." That was
Wow.
just wow. So, President 45 says the children should go back to school. The Secretary of Education, she says the children should go back to school. However, I think as a parent, I would say not until you can tell me my child is safe. What do you think, Rosetta? Your son's going to go back to school soon.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone's going to be safe. However, yes, my son is going back to school. He is not going to go in school. They're going to go back online, do virtual teaching again. And they said that until they find out further what's happening, they will go day by day. So I think that's the right thing to do, because at first they were up in the air and I'm like, I hope they don't start off in the classrooms. They need to figure out first what's happening, where the direction of this pandemic is going, and then they need to go from there on a month to month or day by day basis. So virtual is the way
Right.
to go. But I know with you, there's a lot of teachers not wanting to go back to school. And I heard that there's this one teacher, she actually retired early because she did not want to go back to school. And she also has autoimmune disease. So that's going to be compromised if she does go back to school. So it's really sad that this particular teacher has been teaching for over 30 years, she said, and it's sad that it's come to this, that because, if they're forcing the teachers to go back to school, they're just
Right.
going to have to end up resigning. And, this is not an easy thing to do when you resign after teaching for 30 years. Not only do you lose something that you've loved doing forever, but also
Right.
the school then ends up having to find someone to replace that teacher.
Right.
So that's my thought. I'm glad that they're not going to allow them to go back to school, but what do? We still have to go on case by case basis, day by day, week
Yeah,
by week, and see what happens.
absolutely. So kind of going into the same lines, COVID-19 cases are going up dramatically throughout the United States. And right now, it's Texas, California, and Florida are the three highest growths. Here in Northern California, we thought we were doing really good. We were so happy. And then they allowed prisoners to be moved from one prison that knew they all had COVID-19 to San Quentin. And it's a much larger population.
Mm-hmm.
And so more people started getting sick. The guards started getting sick. And now it has started to, I think that last count, it was a little above 1,100 between the guards and the prisoners that have COVID-19. So we were all excited because Monday was the day that the County of Santa Clara said, we're going to open up. We're going to allow movie theaters. We're going to allow nail salons. We're going to allow hair salons. So everyone went out this weekend, cleaned their places, bought all new supplies. And then on Monday, the governor announced, nah, not so much. We are now going to shut down as of today, Wednesday. So hurry up and shut down. it has really, really been devastating. And if people aren't depressed, or if I should say, if they weren't depressed, I'm sure a little bit of depression is setting in, because the waiting and the unknown is just, it's crazy.
I know. I feel so bad for them. I mean, because I used to own a brick and mortar business, and I know how tough it is financially for the business owners. Every day they're not open, they're losing money. How are they going to pay for rent, pay for their supplies? Especially when you have a nail salon, a hair salon, some of those products don't keep that long. I mean,
Right.
you don't want them to go bad and then bring out. I mean, it's just a whole thing where it's just overhead and finances. And it was so exciting that they could open up again. I mean, I'm sure if I
Yeah.
was in that industry, I'd be thrilled. And then there you
Yes.
have it. Monday, we're going to open up. And then same day you open up, they say, no, we're going to close.
Yep.
I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I really understand where Gavin Newsom's coming from. However,
Yes.
it's very odd because I was in San Luis Obispo, as I mentioned last week, a couple of weeks ago, and it's hit and miss whether you see people with masks or not. And their county has not been hit with as many cases of COVID. But you know
Right.
what I'm thinking, Gloria, is that the reason why the cases have gone up is because they're having more testing, because the number of deaths have not really skyrocketed. It's just the
Right.
cases of people
Right.
contracting it that
Right.
are going up. And I really believe it's because more people are getting tested. That's why
Yeah.
you're seeing the numbers going up. So we'll have to see. I mean, what goes, what the governor says goes, and we have to abide by that. Yes, we need to all keep wearing masks. It's just
Yes.
sad that a lot of people are not wearing masks. So I don't know what to say. We'll have to play it by ear again to see what happens.
Yeah. And the thing for me is, because I've been shut down since March 16th, the nail salons, the hair salons, if they had COVID, we would know it. So their feedback is, wait a minute, I've been closed for 3.5 months and nothing has happened to us where we are in our, family bubbles or whatever. So they just feel like they know what to do. They know how to be safe. They've got this new tracking system, whereas if someone gets COVID, they can say, these are the locations that I went to. They can reach out to those locations, make sure they're in compliance. I think we've got some better tools, but you're right. We're going to have to kind of wait and see.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, how can it come from the nail salons and the spas and the the indoor places if they just opened up? I don't understand. I mean, you
Exactly.
can't just say Monday all of a sudden, oh, we're closing again. I mean, they haven't even had time to even go into their businesses and see
No,
customers to even get infected. So that doesn't
no,
really make sense. That doesn't
no,
make sense. Yeah.
I know. And, another thing that doesn't make sense to me, apparently, some of our children think it's really cool to create COVID parties. What they do is they have a party, and then the goal is to see who gets COVID first. And then, because they don't believe it's that bad, so they're having a party, and the winner gets a prize.
And the prize is,
So,
ta-da, you get the COVID. That's the prize.
thank you. And because some of them are asymptomatic, they were like, oh, no biggie. Well, a young man, a couple of young men, the first young man went to a party and wasn't feeling good, went to the hospital, and he was, I can't remember how old he was, but he wasn't very old at all, like maybe in his like mid 20s to early 30s, somewhere in that bracket. And unfortunately, he did not make it. And as he's taking one of his last breaths, he says to the nurse, I thought this was a hoax. I had no idea this was real.
And he was the one that actually he's the one that hosted the hoax party.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm reading correctly and understanding.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's all these people doing things and afterwards they regret because they're not really believing that it can happen to them.
Right. I mean, and it's just really sad. So, and then there was another young man, he was 21. And yesterday I heard on the news, He went and hung out with some friends, no mask, no 6 feet of distancing, none of that. And apparently he got it. He was asymptomatic, but he took it home to his dad. And now his dad is on a ventilator.
Wow.
So I think, some way, somehow, like there has to be something like, okay, I remember there was a time where, you could get on an airplane and you could smoke like a chimney. And then they said, no more. And then they made the fines dramatic enough that people stopped doing it. As in, if you are smoking, we're going to put you off the plane. We don't smoke on planes anymore. We have to figure out what it is that we can do to keep more people safe. And then if we have to make it a law, I'm not a queen of laws because I don't want to be governed to the nth degree. However, I think we have to figure out a way to get our children to be responsible until they're able to just make good conscious decisions. Because there are people going to die because of their action that they thought was just a joke.
Well, it's everyone, I think. I don't think it's just the children. Yes, that's the higher rate of kids, like the teenagers, the millennials thinking that they're invincible, but it's still young adults that
Yes.
are thinking the same way. The reason I believe, and this is my thing, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but I believe the reason why other countries like Europe, the numbers are going down is because I don't really know exactly because I'm not living there and I don't know what they're doing, but I think that they're taking it a bit more seriously.
Yes.
And it's not about, because America is so about freedom this and freedom that. It's not about your freedom. It's about how can you live in a society to make yourself safe and other people safe. So if
Yes.
any of you have young kids or young millennials watching, no one is invincible. You will catch it. You can catch it. And just
Yes.
like Gloria said, that one kid was asymptomatic, brought it home to the dad, and the dad is really sick now. So that's the worrying thing, is when you pass it on to other people that will, when they contract it, they get serious effects. They could pass away.
Yes. Yes. Well, one of the things that I think is just very interesting is on Good Morning America today, and we'll put the link down below. They, I think they were talking to the doctor, their on board doctor, Dr. Jen, and she shared that there was a person that was two hairdressers. They were performing, giving services. They both have been tested and both of them have COVID-19. During this same process, they have seen 139 patrons that have been under their care. They have no spread of COVID due to their interaction with those people. And the one saving grace is that the hairdressers wore a mask and the patrons wore a mask. So my question to everyone who's refusing to wear a mask, would you prefer to wear a mask, or would you prefer to affect someone with COVID-19 and they die? What can you live with? I can live with wearing a mask. I'm the crazy person. I put the mask on and my brain is like, okay, if I go into one grocery store and they don't have what I need and I have to go somewhere else, I don't take the mask off, because then I'm like, okay, I'm going to touch it with my hands. And my hands, yeah, they're sanitized, but it could get on my mask. So I'm going to put the mask on. And so I wear it. By the time I get home, I'm like, oh, it's so hot. I don't care. What's a little inconvenience to save someone's life? So wear the mask as a loving, conscious person to help the people that you come in contact with.
And don't forget, last week, if you didn't watch our chat, we actually showed a video of the experiment they did of the different materials that masks are made of and how effective they are. So if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it, because it's a great one. It talks about the different materials and how much spread they can give and how effective they are.
Excellent. So how about a little labor of love update?
Labor of love. So we skipped 1 week because they didn't have it. Real quick, this week she went back to the hometowns of 3 of the bachelors. One was now I'm blanking. One was Kyle, one was Marcus, and one was Stuart. That's the name, Stuart. I was going to say Stephen. Stuart. So, so she went to Kyle first. He was fine. He lives in a bachelor pad. She was trying to see if it would be the right fit for her. He was okay. He was okay. He just lived like a regular bachelor, just like you would
Oh,
expect. The
okay.
funny thing was, then she goes to Marcus's home. Oh my God. And then you realize this is what is happening here. I couldn't even understand. He brings her to his place. Let's make sure that you understand. He's a doctor. Marcus
Oh,
is
okay.
a doctor, okay? He brings her to his house and come down the stairs. Who comes down the stairs? A woman. And you think that's his mother. No, it's not his mother. It's a house mother. It's a woman that lives in his house that acts like a mother and does everything for him, from
Oh my God.
cooking to cleaning to sewing to this to that. I'm like, are you serious? So if they decide, if she ends up with this Marcus,
Right.
he's going to expect her to take the place of that house mother and do everything for him. He couldn't even, like, oh my God, he went to change and he had some pants on, and the house mother
Right.
was trying to like adjust his outfit and stuff for him. He's so un what is the word?
Oh my God.
He's not independent. Let's put it this
Yeah,
way.
he's so pampered. He didn't even know.
I
I
can't
mean,
believe
when
I've
you get
never even heard of a house mother.
well, when you have a child, that child's going to need a father. You can't go, house mother, child's crying. House mother, come feed the baby. House mother, come birth the baby. You are the father.
Yes, and she does it. She's a nice lady. She does it obviously because she gets paid for it, right?
Wow.
He
Yes.
hired her for that. So needless to say, this Marcus is out. She's not having any of that. The last person she went to visit was Stuart. Oh my God, Stuart is the one. He's the one. He has been planning this for all his life, I think. He is
Wow.
such a gentleman. He actually took her to a house, not even his house. He took her to their future house. He said, "This is the kind of house that we're going to live in."
Wow.
It was an amazing, amazing house. It was like
Wow.
top notch. He said, "Yes,
Wow.
this is for you. This is the kind of lifestyle we would live." And then he invited two of his closest friends over to that house so they could chit chat, so that to see if she could get along with his friends and if the friends could get along with her. They got along really, really well. And
Nice.
he has planned this for a long time, and he does whatever he can to make her happy. So I like him the best. Carl, okay, but he still lives in a bachelor pad and he hasn't really thought about what would happen in the future if they got married. So to put a long story short, she went to the three homes. She got rid of Marcus, Kyle, and Stuart left. So that's the end of that. That's your recap. And Stuart is my number one. Love it.
All right. I can't wait to hear how it turns out.
Yes. Yes. I will be sure to tell you.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit about current events. Nick Cannon. You know, I never understand how people who come or who experience life as someone other than a privileged individual says things sometimes that get themselves into trouble. Rosetta was reading a little bit about it.
Yes, I'm gonna pull out my phone and tell you exactly. So do you know
Yes,
everybody knows Nick Cannon? You know who he is. He
yes,
hosted America's Got Talent, and then he hosts Masked Singer. He does
yes,
a show called Wet and Wild. He has a lot of gigs going.
yes,
Makes
a
a lot
lot of
of
it.
money. And because he's on this podcast, right? And because of the things
Yes,
he said, he's actually no longer has any relationships with that one network, Viacom. So I'm
yes,
going to pull out exactly what. So it says Viacom ends relationships with Nick Cannon after white people are evil and other comments. So he actually obviously made these comments that was so bad that got him fired from Viacom and doing any of his shows. And I did not know that. But before I go on, I'll read a little bit of what it says. It says Viacom CBS is ending its long-running relationship with Nick Cannon after he made anti-Semitic comments on his podcast in the June 30th episode of Cannon's Class. So let me see what it says. It says, on the podcast, Cannon said Black people are the true Hebrews and talked about anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, including the Rothschild family. And then he goes on to saying that something about white people, but he's been taken off everything. Wet and Wild is taken off the air immediately, which is one of his shows. And then Gloria told me, and I didn't know this, I thought that he had just moved on from being the host of America's Got Talent. I did not know that he had been fired from America's Got Talent because of some remarks that he had made. You might want to talk about that because I don't really know what the outcome was of that. I mean, what the entailment of all that was.
Yeah, apparently the way they positioned it is that they decided to part ways because what Nick had done, once again on his podcast, he had made some comments that they felt were inappropriate. And, you know, Nick felt like, well, how can you talk to me about being inappropriate when you've got Simon Cowell sitting there? And at the time, there were conversations about Simon not being the kindest, sweetest person, which we know from American Idol. That's just not who he is. Even though Rosetta had shared with me that when he did the English version of America's Got Talent, he was not the nasty person that we all see. So I was very pleased when Nick, you know, because it was like they let him go. And Nick was doing a good job. And what he did wasn't on their time. It was, you know, he was doing stand-up or something like that. He was doing Nick Cannon work. And, you know, I thought it was an isolated incident. And now here we are today back around. So I think we are all going to learn to think twice before speaking.
Yeah, and I'm surprised with Nick Cannon because he understands, and I think he's an intelligent man. He's in the limelight in the entertainment industry, and he sees what happens, right? When people speak without thinking, right? They say things, and you know, there's a lot of comedians that have been let go or not renewed because of what they've been saying.
Right. And Nick is a very intelligent man. He has a master's degree from Harvard. So, you know, and maybe he was trying to say something and the way it was received was not the way that he intended. However, if that's the case, man up and say, mea culpa, you know, that wasn't what I meant. And if it was what you meant and that's who you are, you can double down on that too. It's just be your authentic self, because trust me, you can pretend, it's always going to come out.
Yeah.
It's always going to come out.
Yes, it is. But anyway, Nick Cannon, we wish you luck on whatever next thing you decide to do.
Yes.
I'm sure after a few years it'll blow over and you'll come back and do whatever you
Who's
come
going
back
to
and
take
do.
over The Masked Singer? I love that show.
Yeah. We have to figure that out. And then, that's going to be a hard one because he's good at that.
You know, yesterday I heard that Tom Bergeron was not going back to Dancing with the Stars. And I was like, oh, Tom's retiring. And then this morning on ABC, they announced that Tayra Banks is the new host. And I don't know. I don't know what that's going to be like, because she tried America's Got Talent, and she's good at, you know, American Got Talent, you know, as far as picking models. And I mean, I know she's an executive producer. She does a lot of behind the scenes. And I mean, I loved her America's Next Top Model. I watched it every season until it went off, because you know, sometimes I would think that the person that won wasn't the person that I thought should have won. And later it came out that on the back end, she would decide who she really wanted. So it's going to be interesting, because Dancing with the Stars is not something where you have that much control. And, you know, like they were making jokes this morning. They're like, are you going to teach the dancers how to smile with their eyes? And, you know, and I'm like, it's going to be interesting to see if how this works out. And if it's Tom Bergeron is a cool dude, it's going to be, those are some big shoes to fill.
I just didn't, I don't think, I mean, she's a great person, Tyra Banks. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I mean, I like her. But for that particular role to take over Tom Bergeron, I think it should have been like Erin. Erin's been doing it with him for a long time.
Exactly.
Replace
Or,
Erin's position, not you know,
yeah,
just
or
move
the
her
guy
into
that,
that position and then find someone else for that, what Erin
yeah,
used
like
to do.
have a guy, what a concept, have Aaron be the host and have a guy backfill. And I would have the guy that was Urkel, you know, that did the dance.
Oh, yeah, what's his name? Oh
Because
God,
he
I don't
took
even.
Tom's other job, you
No,
know?
that was no, not Urkel. That was Carlton.
Yes, I was saying the Carlton dance, yeah. But he took over America's Funniest Videos from Tom.
Yes.
So that to me would have been a better transition. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work out.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. I don't even know when I mean, not America's Got Talent, Dancing with the Stars will even come back on the air
Yeah.
with all this COVID going on.
Well, they said it comes, well, they're planning it for in the fall, but we don't know what that means.
Yeah, we
The
don't know.
fall,
We have, just like anything else, we have to go week by week.
week by week. Well, today, George Stephanopoulos on Good Morning America started the conversations with Mary Trump. She is the niece of the president, and she wrote a tell-all book. And, you know, I have always said, just looking at things, you know, I always, one of my comments is, too much is given, much is expected. And just because you're financially well off doesn't mean that you are a happy person. And the way, I mean, and we just saw a snippet of the conversation. There's going to be more, I think, tomorrow, and they might even do another whole segment. The sad thing is that President 45's father kind of took affection out of their lives, and he made everything more monetary. So instead of giving a hug or giving love, he would reward them with money, with things, with possessions. And if COVID hasn't taught you this lesson, please hear me now. Life has nothing to do with money, because you can be as rich as you want to be and you can be gone tomorrow. So she is going to talk, and she's going to talk a lot. And they tried everything they could to keep the book out of the market, as well as to keep her off talk shows. So there's a whole lot going on right now for the president.
Well, I don't think that that's going to work. I think she's going to be on a lot more talk shows. This is just the beginning. And would you read the book, Gloria?
If I had it free. I'm not gonna, I mean, I think the Trump family has enough money. I'm not gonna give them any of my money.
Right.
I think we'll learn a lot, like you said, from the talk shows that she's going to be invited to, the opportunities. And now that it's out, people that are going to read it, they're going to start talking about it. And then we'll get more tips and little hints. And then, you know, you never know. I remember I used to love going to bookstores, and I'm the crazy girl. I love books, but I was like, $50 for a book? No. All you have to do is wait 4 or 5 weeks, and then it goes to the sale rack. And so eventually her book will end up at Amazon, and there'll be a used copy, and it'll be $5.
It'll be at the recycle bookstore.
Yes, so true. We also wanted to take a moment and send our thoughts and prayers to Supreme Court Justice Ruth Ginsburg. We are so grateful for everything that you do. You know, we know you're tired. I mean, I want you to feel our hearts. We know you're tired. And we're so grateful that you're trying to hang in there to protect the rights of the citizens of the United States of America. And if you can no longer hold on and you're like, I have to retire, we understand, because you have given it one hell of a fight. So please take care of yourself, and we hope that your family knows how much you are loved out here in the world.
Yes, our thoughts and prayers are with her.
Yes. So there's this whole thing called Black Lives Matter, and it's all about the protesters have asked for permission and been given permission to create these visual banners. And the banners have been placed strategically, in the middle of streets, just beautiful banners. Well, what happened is, like I'm always telling you, people behaving badly, people that are not with the protesters right now have decided that they don't like what they're seeing. So a couple of people have gone and gotten white paint and attempted to paint over the top of the Black Lives Matter. They have also started repainting White Lives Matter. Now, the thing that everyone needs to understand is everybody wants all lives to matter. So yesterday I was participating in a spiritual webinar, and it was from people from all different walks of life. And we had an opportunity to have some ministers. There were 3 ministers that led the process. One of the ministers, her name's Reverend Joan, her granddaughter is 6. And so she wanted to make sure she understood what is this whole thing with Black Lives Matter, and trying to explain to her, which is very hard right now for children to understand, how a police officer could put his knee on the neck of a man and kill that man, because the police are supposed to be the good guys. The police are supposed to be the cavalry that rise in to save us all. So she's talking to her granddaughter about, there are good people and there are not so good people. And that's what the protesters are out, and that's what they're doing. And the 6-year-old says to her grandmother, "Oh, I understand. Black lives matter. Until Black lives matter, all lives won't matter." So if a 6-year-old child understands the concept that, yes, the verbiage right now is Black Lives Matter, it transitions to all lives matter. Because when Black lives matter, all lives will matter.
Very, very true. And I do say, for a 6-year-old to say that, that's amazing. And I do think that it has a lot to do with young kids understand this way better than adults do. That's why she said what she said. And it's very sad because young kids nowadays can be taught because they haven't been brainwashed. Older adults, it's harder to actually teach them new things because of
Right.
all their already preconceived notions and what they believe in, what they stand for. And I was telling Gloria that it's sad, but that's the truth of it. That's the truth of the matter. And it's powerful what she said.
Yeah, true. Let's do some quarantine questions.
Quarantine questions coming up right up. All right, quarantine question number 1. Would you rather be forced to dance every time you heard music, or be forced to sing along to any song you heard?
Would I rather, right? Which one would I prefer?
Yes, would you rather be forced to dance every time you heard music, or forced to sing along to every time you heard?
Forced to dance, because some of the songs I would not sing. I'd be so forced to dance.
Forced to dance, yay! Ding ding ding. Me too. Me too. It's easier to move your body and instead of trying to figure out the words.
Right.
All right. Number 2. Would you rather be able to read minds or accurately predict the future?
Ooh, I actually would prefer to read minds, because I think I could do more with that knowledge, being able to predict know the future. I prefer to just walk into the future and let what happens happens. However, I would love to read minds, because some people perpetrate such a fraud, and I would love to be able to go, that's not what you think. I know what you think.
And on that, that reminds me of that movie with Taraji P. Henson. Do you remember
Yes,
that? She could
yes,
actually hear what people were thinking.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
especially
that's,
men.
yeah, that's what I want. I want to have that ability. Okay. So next question. If you were reborn in a new life, would you rather be alive in the past or in the future?
Now that's okay. Every week you do one, and this is the one because it's like, oh my God. Um, I think if I had to make a choice, I just because of the loves that I missed, I would go back to the past. Not so much to relive my life and to, change it. An opportunity to hug my grandmother and sit with my grandfather, be with my dad. That to me is the most precious thing on the planet.
Wow, that's exactly how I feel. Like I never got to meet on my dad's side the grandparents. So
Yeah,
that would be nice to rekindle with my grandparents on my mother's side, just to go back and see all my aunts and uncles that have passed away. Wow,
yeah,
the
yeah,
amazing thing. All
yes.
right. And the last question is, would you rather be invisible or be very, very fast?
Oh, invisible. Because I'm the kind of person, and I'm just gonna be honest. I'd have like a feather, and it would just, flicker at you, and you'd be like, you think it's a bug. I would want to be invisible.
I've always said, wouldn't it be nice to be a fly on the wall when that person is talking? I always say that. So that,
Yes,
yes, invisible is something that I would want to be. I'd love it. I mean, God, the things you could do when you're invisible.
yes. Like say someone is being bad and they're doing bad things. You could whisper in their ear and you could say, you know what? You're closer to transitioning from this planet than you are being alive. So maybe you should double think about what you're about to do. Think about it. Do you really want to do that? I mean, you could have such a positive effect but you'd have to do it cool because you wouldn't want them to think they're crazy.
Right, right. I would, I'm
Oh,
bad. If I was invisible, I'd like to play some pranks on people. And
I know you would. That would be too much.
so those are my quarantine questions.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So before we end our talk today, we just wanted to recognize some recent loss of lives. Naya Rivera, oh my God. It was sad to think about her losing her life. And now that the police have been able to talk to her child, he told them, Mommy pushed me up in the boat and then she disappeared under the water. Her last act was making sure her child was safe. She
Wow.
will truly, yeah, she will truly be missed by her family, her friends, and all of her fans. Her Glee family is just, I mean, they're just surrounding her son, her mom, her dad. I mean, everyone with love because it's so shocking. I mean,
And she
she's
was
been
so
there many
young.
times. Yeah, very young. And it wasn't like she went someplace she'd never gone. She used to go there all the time. But they said that the waters could shift, and maybe she didn't know how drastically they could shift. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah,
So sorry,
yeah,
lost of life. Rest in peace. Wow.
yeah. And then John Travolta's wife, Kelly Preston, I did not know she had been fighting breast cancer for 2 years. However, she lost her battle, and he posted that the family is going to take some time. They're going to come off of social media. I loved her. I loved her in Jerry Maguire because she tortured Tom Cruise. Her character did. And then she was in what was that? I think that was the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. She has done some, really good deals, and she's done lots of movies with her husband, John. So our thoughts and prayers go out to John Travolta and the family. We know her love will be missed. However, we know her spirit surrounds you all.
Yes. Yeah, she put up a good fight for 2 years.
Yes, yes. And then lastly, Lisa Marie Presley, she is Elvis Presley's daughter. Her grandson, Benjamin Ko, passed away suddenly on Sunday. They don't know what happened. And so what they're doing is they are trying to do some investigations to figure out what happened. She's devastated because it was just so shocking how no one expected this to happen.
Right. It was very sudden.
Very. So, like Rosetta and I always remind you, be kind to one another, love one another. Ellen always tells us, be kind to one another and listen to one another. And a last tidbit before we close, don't forget, today is tax day. It used to be April 15th. It's July 15th. Get those taxes in the mail before midnight. So don't forget.
Completely forgot. I have it on my calendar. I forgot.
Nope. Tax day.
Yep. Yes. Yes. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. This has been a really great chat. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. And don't forget, in order for us to know that you watched our chats and like it, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notifications so that you're the first to watch our chats.
Yes.
We love it. We just love talking. And remember, you're always welcome to give us feedback, comments on whatever we talked about, because we'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like us to chat about anything or discuss something, please comment below.
Yes.
And
Let
as a
us know.
reminder, yes, below. And as a reminder, this is Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. So if any of you out there watching make teas, know of someone that offers teas, has a tea shop, we'd love to review your teas in a future chat. So
Yes.
hit us up so that we can try out your teas and review, because we'd love to promote your tea business or the teas that you. Yes. So thank you so much, everyone. Until next time. And remember to always keep
smiling.
Take care. Stay positive.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.